start with Mr. Carl from Alabama. I recognize you for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Summers, the Alabama Graphite Belt, which is located in Coosa County, Alabama, has some of the world's best reserves of a critical energy material, but a lack of commitment to these resources has led to the suspension of the development over the last several decades. Simple question. How does the United States government plan to encourage the private sector to redevelop graphite resources in order to maintain America's ability to access critical materials as and when needed, rather than relying on China or other unreliable foreign suppliers?
Thank you, Congressman. I think that, we don't have any graphite resources in Utah. I wish we did, but we have a lot of other critical minerals that have also either not been developed or they've had to stop development. And I think that for the federal government to focus again on permitting issues that, add a lot of delays to the process, and also to encourage and incentivize domestic manufacturing and processing. In many cases, the reason that we don't have these minerals produced in the U.S. is because, frankly, they're produced more cheaply elsewhere. And a lot of that is a function of, as I mentioned in my testimony, because you've got countries that don't have the same kind of environmental and labor safeguards. And in some cases, there's flat-out market manipulation where they will sell critical minerals into the market, into the commodities markets for less than what they cost to produce. And so I think until we find ways to incentivize production of some of these mineral resources, and in some cases even require them, if that's, if there's a national defense system or something else that calls for some of these resources, it's going to be very difficult for us to continue to compete on a global scale.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I ask unanimous consent to submit a letter from Warner Met Coal for the records.
Without
Get that
objection,
entered.
so ordered.
Mr. Adams, my district, which has the Port of Mobile, we're very proud of our coal exporting there. In fiscal year 2022, the port exported about 10 million metric tons of met coal. For those of y'all that don't know what met coal is, it's coal that's primarily targeted for the metal industry, molten metals. We're in a unique situation in Alabama in that we mine it in central Alabama, which supply the jobs and obviously everything that spins off in Jasper and up in central Alabama. We bring it down the river system that we've been so blessed with into the Port of Mobile. And Port of Mobile, it creates many, many jobs, which we take and we load it on vessels. Most of these vessels are going to Brazil. They go to Brazil where they're used in the furnaces there. They're heated into metal. The metal comes back to the Port of Mobile. It's unloaded in Port of Mobile. We take it up to our steel mills, which are right up the river system. It is stamped out, and it winds up in one of your automobiles that you're probably driving today, whether it be a Mercedes. We have about 7 different manufacturers in Alabama, and it's all done because of met coal. That's where it all starts. That's what I want us to focus on here real quick. Can you discuss the economic benefits if you are able, because you have a similar situation, obviously, on the Navajo Nation, which I'm very sensitive to anything dealing with our ancestries there. Can you discuss the economic benefits if we were able to export our coal to more locations throughout the United States? Would it be a similar story? And what barriers are in place to increase you to export that?
Congressman, thank you for your question. We actually export thermal coal as well, but we have huge roadblocks in being able to do that. The Port of Mobile is a world-class port. I wish we had 15 of them around the United States. The jobs that Mobile has, the economy that is built off of that shipping, everyone should be envious of that. And that opportunity is there for many other states, for many other cities who do not take it. We could easily place 40 million plus tons a year into the Asian market. They love American coal. It is consistent. It is high quality. We would get most in the West, most of ours on federal land. So the federal government would get 12.5% of that revenue. But we've had every coal port on the West Coast shut down. Governor Inslee in Washington, or the Corps of Engineers, Army Corps of Engineers have shut down every single project to export coal out of the West. So that puts a lot more pressure onto the limited coal ports that there are. The East is lucky with the met coal. We don't have met in the West. We're all thermal, with few exceptions. But we need more ports. We need to participate. We need to replace Russian coal in the international market, which is absolutely a player. We need U.S. coal in that revenue.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair?
Gentlemen,